Hello everyone. Welcome to the podcast.
Have you ever felt that huge desire to learn something new? Maybe a language or get good at a craft, but then you just hit a wall. You tell yourself, "Oh, I'm too busy," or maybe I'm just not talented enough for this, or you just genuinely have no clue where to even start. It's super common, isn't it? And that whole 10,000 hour rule for mastery, honestly, that always felt like a life sentence to me. Well, today we're doing a deep dive into something that could really change how you think about learning. It's called micromastery.
That's right. And this deep dive, it's based squarely on Robert Twigger's work. We're going to unpack the psychology, the neuroscience, and the really practical side of his approach.
Okay, so our mission today is pretty clear. Figure out what micromastery actually is, look at the surprising benefits, walk through its structure, and really show you how you can use it to get good at, pretty much anything you want.
Yeah, and the first step really is to challenge that old idea. You know, the one that says mastery takes this enormous chunk of your life. Micromastery flips that. It's about focusing on really small, self-contained units of doing. These aren't just random tasks, though. They're complete in themselves, but they also connect to something bigger. Twigger's point is that the real path to, big results is often through perfecting lots of small things first.
I love that analogy he uses. Start with an egg, not the chicken. That really clicked for me. It changes what starting even means, doesn't it?
Exactly.
Instead of being totally overwhelmed by, say, becoming a master chef, you could just focus on making one really excellent omelet.
Right. It seems simple, but a perfect omelet. That actually tests a lot of core cooking skills. It's about those small, achievable wins that give you immediate feedback. Success right away.
Okay, so that brings us to the definition then. What is a micromastery? Exactly.
Yeah, precisely. It's a repeatable task. It has a successful outcome. And crucially, it's actually pleasurable in itself. You can do just that one task, feel good about it, and start there. Or you can use it as a launch pad for bigger things. Or both. That repeatability and the enjoyment factor, that's what makes it stick.
And what's really cool is how it helps you sidestep all those usual roadblocks, right? I'm too busy. It looks too complicated. I'm not an expert. I should have started when I was younger.
All of those.
It sort of democratizes learning, making it feel possible again, especially lifelong learning. Those small successes really build momentum.
They really do.
So for you listening, the big takeaway here is that this approach, it's designed to make learning feel accessible. Really. Doesn't matter what you've done before or if you think you have talent or not. It's meant for everyone.
Absolutely. But it's not just, clever mind tricks or just finding ways around excuses. There's real science behind why this works so well. Neurologically speaking, micromastery is like a proper workout for your brain.
A mental workout.
Yeah, our brains are constantly changing, right? Neuroplasticity. And if we don't challenge them with new stuff, new learning, those connections, those neural pathways, they can weaken. Think about a phone number you used to know perfectly.
Oh yeah, totally gone now for some of them.
Exactly. That pathway just wasn't used, so it faded. Micromastery prevents that kind of fading or forgetting.
So learning these smaller tasks quickly, like micromastery encourages, it gives your brain a regular, a neural kickstart.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. A neural kickstart. It's not just about stopping decline. It's actively building a more flexible, adaptable brain.
Like cognitive cross-training.
Precisely. Yeah. You're constantly forming new connections with different small tasks. That boosts your overall mental elasticity. It makes learning anything else easier down the line. Okay. And another fascinating bit is how it often taps into what we call multi-sensory capabilities. Many micromasteries get multiple senses working together: sight, sound, touch, maybe even smell. And the more senses you engage, the stronger those neural connections become, more robust. It leads to deeper learning. Think about studying for an exam. You could just reread your notes.
Yeah.
Or you could watch, say, a really dynamic video about the topic. The visuals, the sound, that helps embed the information much better than just text alone for most people.
Right. I get that.
Yeah.
More hooks for your memory.
Exactly. More hooks. And this ties in beautifully with Csikszentmihalyi's idea of the flow state.
Flow. Getting in the zone.
Right. Because a micromastery is repeatable, but not strictly repetitive. There's always slight variation or improvement. It naturally contains all the ingredients needed to enter that flow state, where time kind of disappears. You feel deeply satisfied. It's great for your mental and physical well-being.
That flow state sounds amazing.
Yeah.
But, the world's full of distractions. How does micromastery actually help you get there? Does it make finding that focus easier?
It really does. The small, well-defined scope of a micromastery plus that immediate feedback loop, they provide the clear goals and the instant rewards that are key triggers for flow. You know exactly what you need to do.
Okay.
You get confirmation right away if it worked. That keeps you hooked, engaged. It hits that sweet spot, between being too hard and too easy. The challenge matches your skill level as it grows.
So it's not just about learning skills then. It sounds like it's more holistic, boosting your brain health, your well-being, your sense of control.
Absolutely. It's a much broader impact than just adding a line to your CV.
Okay, so if you're listening and thinking, right, I want to try this, you're going to need a kind of map, right? A blueprint. Let's break down the 6-part structure that apparently makes each micromastery work so well.
Perfect. So element number 1,
Yep.
the entry trick. Think of this as a clever little hack or an insider tip, something that gets you performing better, faster right off the bat. It gives you that immediate result, that rush of rewarding brain chemicals.
Okay, like a shortcut.
Sort of, yeah. A smart shortcut. For example, with rock balancing, the entry trick might be finding 3 little bumps close together on the base rock to make a stable triangular platform. Instantly easier.
Got it. Okay, what's number 2?
Number 2 is the friction barrier. This is where you hit a snag because maybe 2 different skills you need at the same time aren't quite working together yet.
The coordination problem.
Exactly. The solution. Practice each skill separately for a bit. Get comfortable with each one, then try putting them together. Like in baking bread, maybe juggling the right temperature and the right timing for proofing the dough. That's a common friction barrier. You focus on getting the temp right, then the timing.
Makes sense. Break it down. What's third?
Third is background support. These are basically all the external things that help clear the way for you. They remove obstacles and just make success easier.
So the environment or the tools?
Yeah, tools, environment, materials. For drawing those Zen circles, Twigger mentions simply having a really good pen can make a difference. It removes a point of frustration.
Okay. Number 4.
Number 4, the outcome. This is the reward. It needs to be achievable, clear, unambiguous, something that makes you think, yeah, that was worth it, and encourages you to do it again.
Like the wow
Yeah,
you get when someone tastes your perfect omelet.
exactly that. Or the delicious smell and taste of the bread you baked. It's the payoff.
Nice. Okay, 5th element.
5th is repeatability. This is straightforward. The skill has to be something you can do over and over easily. Repetition is how you see progress, how you build that confidence muscle, like sketching every single coffee cup in a cafe if you're learning to draw.
Right, practice makes, progress.
Progress, exactly. And finally, number 6, experimental possibilities. This is crucial for keeping things interesting. It's the built-in opportunity to play around, to tweak things, discover new variations or methods.
So you don't get bored just doing the exact same thing.
Precisely. It keeps your curiosity alive. Like if you master the J stroke for canoeing, you might start experimenting with L strokes or C strokes just to see what happens.
Okay, wow, that's a really clear framework. Entry trick, friction barrier, background support, outcome, repeatability, and experimental possibilities. It feels like a toolkit you could apply to almost anything you want to learn. Takes the big, scary thing and makes it strategic.
That's the idea. Make it manageable and strategic.
And Twigger uses such a wide range of examples, doesn't he? It's not just one type of skill. Omelets, rock balancing, drawing circles, rope climbing, surfing, even public speaking, like speaking for 15 minutes on any topic.
Yeah. Artisan bread, juggling 4 balls. He even talks about learning to read basic Japanese in just 3 hours.
Amazing. Let's maybe zoom in on a couple of those. How do those 6 elements actually play out in, say, surfing?
Okay, surfing. Great example. The entry trick could be just practicing popping up, going from lying down to standing on the board, but on the beach first. Get the movement down on stable ground.
Right, makes sense. Less falling in the water initially.
Definitely. Then you hit the water and bam, friction barrier. Coordinating the board, moving forward with you, pushing yourself up at the right moment.
Yeah, I can imagine that's tricky.
Very. So you practice maybe just paddling first, then just popping up without worrying about catching a wave yet. Isolate them. Your background support is crucial here. Maybe a good wetsuit if the water's cold, the right size board. Things that make the experience less miserable.
Okay.
The outcome, obvious. Catching that wave, feeling the glide, it's exhilarating. That's a powerful reward.
I bet.
Repeatability is built in. Surfing's addictive. People go back again and again. Maybe inviting friends makes it even more repeatable, more fun. And experimental possibilities, loads, trying different breaks, different types of waves, different boards, maybe even trying stand-up paddle boarding later on.
Cool. Okay, what about something totally different like the artisan bread baking?
Bread, love this one. Lots of potential entry tricks here. One is simply dedicating a whole day to it. Don't rush bread.
Patience.
Patience is key. Another trick, use a little olive oil on your hands and the dough instead of tons of flour when kneading. It stops sticking but keeps the dough moist and light. Too much flour makes it heavy.
Ooh, good tip.
And another, maybe the most important, good ingredients. Strong flour, he suggests, organic, Canadian, reliable, dry yeast, warm water. And kneading properly, say 10 minutes until you can stretch it really thin, almost transparent, that develops the gluten.
Okay, so good prep and good technique up front. What's the friction barrier in bread?
Often it's that temperature and time balance during proofing, letting the dough rise. It needs to be warm enough, but not too hot for the right amount of time. Twigger suggests, for example, warming your oven to maybe 50 Celsius, then turning it off right before you put the dough in. Lets it gently reach the ideal 30 degrees or so.
Clever.
And
background support for bread.
Obvious stuff, but vital. Accurate measuring scales baking is chemistry and a decent surface for kneading. Nothing worse than dough stuck everywhere.
In there. Outcome.
The best part, that incredible smell filling your house and the taste of fresh, warm bread you made yourself, unbeatable reward.
Definitely. Repeatability.
Easy to make it a weekly ritual. Keep the flour, yeast, salt stocked. It becomes a satisfying routine.
Get experimenting.
Oh, endless. Play with hydration levels, different types of flour, add seeds, olives, herbs. Change the shape, the scoring. So many ways to experiment. You know, this ties into something interesting about the Japanese approach to learning he mentioned.
Oh yeah, how so?
Well, it contrasts quite a bit with how we often teach in the West, where there's sometimes this focus on, innate talent or starting super young.
Right, are you naturally gifted?
Exactly. The Japanese approach, generally speaking, puts much more emphasis on attitude. The belief is basically everyone can learn if they have the right attitude and follow the method diligently. Initial skill level is less important than perseverance.
I like that.
And that fits perfectly with micromastery, the routines, the structure they're designed so anyone can learn, even someone who thinks they're totally untalented. It's about the process, not some magical gift.
These examples really drive it home, don't they? It shows how micromastery isn't just some abstract idea. It's a really practical, flexible framework you can use for your own growth. It makes big goals feel doable.
Exactly. It brilliantly bypasses those common excuses, I'm too busy, I don't have the talent. It makes learning small, rewarding, and actually fun. It shifts your focus from what you can't do to what you can do right now in this small, enjoyable step.
And there's something else too, isn't there, about connection and feedback?
Yes, absolutely. Humans, we generally crave connection. We want feedback. Traditional learning can sometimes be quite isolating, right? You study alone for ages. Micromastery gives you something concrete, a demonstrable product almost immediately.
Yeah.
You make the omelet, you bake the bread, you draw the circle, you can show someone.
Right. You get that instant pride and you can get feedback straight away, not years later.
Precisely. We want to share what we've learned, often right away. Micromastery lets you do that.
So the long-term effects must be pretty significant then.
Oh, absolutely. Think about it. It nurtures a growth mindset, that core belief that your abilities aren't fixed, that you can improve with effort. That's huge. Then you get this cumulative effect of small successes boosting your confidence. You start tackling slightly bigger things. It improves your problem-solving skills because you're constantly overcoming those little friction barriers, increases cognitive flexibility, and ultimately it cultivates a genuine habit of lifelong learning.
It's no surprise people like Philip Pullman called it a triumph, or Tim Harford said it was wise and joyful, and actually changed how he thought about learning. That's powerful stuff.
It really is. And connecting it to the bigger picture, Twigger suggests that seeing the world through this lens, seeing possibilities for micromasteries everywhere, it makes anything feel possible. He talks about it as a way to reclaim your life from that pressure to just do one thing, one career, forever. It allows for a much richer, more varied existence.
So for you listening, the impact isn't just about ticking off skills on a list. It's about fundamentally changing how you approach curiosity, how you grow as a person, how you interact with the world around you.
It's a paradigm shift in a way.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, that core message really stands out, doesn't it? Micromastery isn't just a learning hack, it's more like a philosophy. It makes learning accessible to everyone, it reframes failure as just part of the learning curve, and it genuinely empowers you no matter your age or background.
Yeah, it really does. And perhaps a final thought to leave you with is this. What will you choose to learn next? Remember that old saying, every long journey begins with a single step. Well, micromastery shows us that every step, even a tiny one, if it's structured right, can lead to really significant achievements.
So maybe take a moment now. Think about one small skill, something you've always been curious about. An egg, perhaps, not the whole chicken. How could applying these ideas the entry trick, managing friction, finding support, focusing on the outcome, repeating it, playing with it? How could that make it real for you? What little mastery are you going to cultivate? Maybe even starting today?